Get up, and hey Schrager, you're now going to be introduced to our favorite character. His name is Monday Dan Orlovsky, with 3 things it needs to get off his chest. Danny, go!
Yeah, the Cowboys need to take a wide receiver in the first round. I'm one of those people, Greeny, who think the Cowboys are going to be a better football team than most people expect. Dak has to stay healthy. He's missed 3 out of the last 5 seasons, or most of that season. They need somebody opposite CeeDee Lamb to come and be an integral part. Without that number 2 receiver, I don't find them as a playoff contending football team. I think the offensive line is going to be better, but they should draft a wide receiver at number 12 in this year's draft. The Browns at number...
The Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl window is closed. What would D. Fox say?
It might come as a shock to you, and it pains me to say it, but I do think that the Cowboys' Super Bowl window is closed. It may not be for the rest of Dak's career, but what's happening in that division right now with their team and the other teams feels like the Cowboys are at best the 3rd team in that division, which is a really hard thing to do if you're not even the best team in your division to win a championship.
All right, and then
2 and the Giants at number 3. You gotta get a quarterback within your top 2 picks. I don't know when those top 2 picks are going to happen, and I don't believe that drafting a quarterback at 2 or 3 is likely for either of these teams. But whether it's Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss, who I'm higher on than most people, or Shedeur Sanders at some point, or Tyler Shuck out of Louisville, both the Browns and the Giants want Carr's injury. It puts the Steelers on the clock big time. There is no more team in the NFL draft that has to have more urgency than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is why. We all assume and think that Rodgers is going to go be their quarterback. I think it's a done deal, but I don't know. And if it's not, and now you understand that the Saints are sitting there at 9 with question marks at their starting quarterback, you, if you're the Steelers, cannot sit back and not potentially go to 6 or 7 or 8 and try to jump the New Orleans Saints, just knowing that they need or potentially need a quarterback for the future, not only because of the future, but the reality of this year with Derek Carr's injury. This puts the Steelers firmly on the clock.
Okay, all 3 of those are excellent. And D. Fox say, so Dominique, I'll say something and then we'll hear what you say. If I were to say Justin Fields is the Jets' long-term answer at quarterback, what would D. Fox say?
Anything is possible. I feel like it's hard to imagine a situation where a guy could bounce from team to team to team in the way that Justin Fields has, and then finally land here and figure it out in the last location. So, I mean, it's possible. It's happened before, but I think it's pretty unlikely. Justin Fields is probably a bridge guy till they get a chance to draft another quarterback.
All right, we'll see. Let's go to the next one. If I were to say Dak and one more, if I were to say Cam Ward is going to save Tennessee from QB purgatory, what would D. Fox say?
I'd say absolutely. I mean, he's the number 1 overall. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick, and he has the ability and explosiveness to change a franchise. I think that Tennessee wouldn't be drafting him there if they didn't have this faith. It's still, again, it's a rare thing for it to happen, but it's normally going to be a guy with this level of talent. And honestly, the uncertainty about his path to Miami and to the number 1 overall pick gives you a little optimism that there's even more room to grow for a player like this.
Well, we'll find out. If you weren't with us on Friday, and I wasn't here, fascinating, and we can dive in as we go on to the group of them. But let's start with the last piece of it, which is the Saints, the quarterback injury. Does that? People are going to connect dots here, Danny, and they're going to say, oh, Saints have a quarterback injury, Shedeur Sanders, and they're going to make a match.
It is entirely possible that there's Derek Carr injury news 2 weeks out from the draft that changes the Saints draft plan and forces them to take a quarterback at 9. It's more likely that it doesn't, right? Because from what we understand, Carr and the Saints have been in communication. It's not a major surprise or anything to them. So whatever their plan was before this news broke on Friday should still be their plan. So if they like Shedeur Sanders enough to take him at 9, then they should have been doing that anyway, right? Before anything came up about Derek Carr and his shoulder. If they don't, then I don't think they need to force it just because of this. This is a team that has to be thinking about the long term. Carr is only going to be there 1 more year max anyway. So it's really, I feel like a broken record the last couple of weeks. If you like Shedeur Sanders enough to take him at that pick, whether it's 2 or 3 or 9 or 6 or 21, yet great. Your other quarterback circumstances should not be determining that.
Let me get Traeger in here, Danny, because you were saying earlier today this idea, there are still mock drafts I'm seeing that have him going at 3. That is not the read you have as you talk to everybody.
We're 10 days out, and I feel like I just have to kind of level set here. I read all the mock drafts. I read all these articles, and we're going in on Shedeur Sanders going 2 or 3 to the Giants for the last 3 weeks. That didn't come from the teams. It didn't come from the Browns. It didn't come from the Giants. That's us speculating that Shedeur Sanders is this type of prospect. He may very well go 2, 3 to the Giants, 6 to the Raiders, 7 to the Jets, 9 to the Saints. It might happen. But let me tell you, that's not coming from the teams right now. From the teams right now, they're saying Cam Ward's likely going to the Titans, and there's a big drop-off, and maybe Shedeur is the second quarterback taken. Is he a top 10 prospect traditionally? I don't get that from the teams, and that is nothing against Shedeur Sanders. I don't think at any point in the college season were we saying he's the number 2 or number 3 overall pick in this draft.
I think it's also important to note that when we're talking about the Browns at 2 and the Giants at 3, the pick isn't just not Shedeur Sanders.
It's who they're not
Abdul
taking.
Carter and Travis Hunter, who are possibly franchise-altering players at different positions, right? Like if the draft was Cam Ward and then nobody else that you loved, then maybe you do force a quarterback at that position. But these two teams have a chance to get, significant, major long-term contributors at key positions, and then maybe address quarterback a little bit later on.
Go ahead, Danny.
I agree with you guys' perspective on the Saints. My thought immediately went to the Steelers because, Graz, to the way you were describing it is, okay, if you were the Saints, this injury news or potential shouldn't really. Rodgers is a done deal. And again, I've been outspoken. I think it is, but that's my assumption.
Yeah.
You could waste TJ Watts last year under contract. You could waste another Cam Hayward season. You could waste another Minka Fitzpatrick season. You could waste the first year of DK Metcalf. So if you're the Steelers and you're just playing this waiting game, I think now this makes you even more likely and more urgent to be, I got to get ahead number 9. I have to no matter what.
The key thing for everyone to remember, though, is they don't have their second-round pick. They traded it for DK Metcalf. That it may increase the urgency of getting a quarterback in the first round, but it also increases the difficulty of getting a quarterback in the first round if you have to trade up to do it.
Yeah, they don't have the same sort of ammunition that other teams do.
We had a 4 to 5 hour meeting in Pittsburgh at the end of last week, and I can tell you it went very well. I think that makes a lot more sense in the 20s than it does trading up to 9. Then again, if you love the quarterback, get him. Where you took him 9 or 21, it doesn't matter. That said, I just don't see him going in the top 10
Peter,
right now.
here's the thing, though. Let's fast forward 2 weeks, and you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Saints take Shedeur Sanders, and someone takes Jackson Dart.
Right. Yeah.
Are you rolling out Shedeur Sanders right now with DK Metcalf and George Pickens and suddenly a Super Bowl contender? Dan, I'm missing what you're trying to say, because is he also your long-term answer? If you didn't love him at 21, now it's okay because the Saints might take him. We need Shedeur Sanders.
Could you imagine?
Everyone stay where you are. Danny, I promise you, whatever
Let's go!
Whatever it is we were otherwise doing, we are not doing it anymore, okay? We're not doing whatever we were otherwise doing. We're coming back to this.
Went there.
But